This is Evening News for Monday, November 18, 2013. I'm Samuel Suknandan. Thanks for joining us. Making the headlines tonight. Fourth CBSI meeting opens here. Glenn Lal's connections cited in poor tip ratings. Normalcy returns to Camp Street Jail. 2 killed, 1 injured in West End accident. Industry woman appears in court on drug charge. Styrofoam ban effective from June 1. And Guyana misses CFTF deadline for passing anti-money laundering legislation. And now for the news in detail. Security ministers from the region were joined by several high-level officials at the International Convention Center this morning as the 4th meeting of the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative CBSI Commission got underway. This is the second time Guyana is hosting this meeting, having hosted one in October of 2011. Addressing the gathering, Prime Minister Samuel Hines, who is the acting president, underscored the importance of the meeting at this time in the region's history, as he explained that there is need for more interregional support for combating the security challenges that are eating away at CARICOM societies. He called for more partnerships to be developed that are similar to the Caribbean Basin Initiative, while outlining how Guyana has worked to cause a reduction in crime, which still continues to prove challenging. CBSI was conceived and developed as a shared security partnership among the countries of the Caribbean community, the Dominican Republic and the United States, and was formally launched in 2010 and has emerged as the genuine partnership among 14 nations. Glenn Lal's alleged involvement in human smuggling has been cited in Guyana's poor trafficking in persons ratings. More in this report.
Guyana has been repeatedly receiving negative ratings from the United States government and international non-governmental organizations in the area of human smuggling, commonly referred to as trafficking in persons. The failure of local law enforcement authorities to aggressively track down perpetrators could be the major contributing factor, with the United States State Department through the American Embassy here pinpointing owner and publisher of the Kaiser News, Glenn Lal, as an alleged mastermind in the legal scheme. Questions have repeatedly been surfacing on both sides of the political landscape as to why he has not yet been thoroughly investigated. Several politicians, including 2 opposition members and at least 1 government representative, have called for Lal to be investigated, expressing grave concern as to why his alleged illegal acts are being ignored. In light of the recent rescue missions for trafficked victims, the Alliance for Change has called on the government to accelerate the fight against TIP, in particular the apparent slave drive and slave trade here. AFC parliamentarian Kathy Hughes made this call during a recent interview with this newscast. Hughes stated that she was disappointed with the way government has been addressing trafficking in persons. The Trinidad Express reported recently that there is a multi-million-dollar sex slave trade taking place between Trinidad and Tobago and South America, where persons are being held against their will, forced into prostitution and threatened with death. Government ministers from the Twin Island Republic and Venezuela met recently to discuss initiatives to crack down on the illegal trafficking of humans, drugs and guns, and protecting the borders of both countries. Those familiar with the discussion say Lal's name has surfaced as a suspected major player. President Donald Ramatar, in his remarks earlier this year, described the principal of a media house as one of the many suspected backtrackers and human smugglers in Guyana. A senior official in government said the president was clearly sending a warning message to Lal. Ramatar was sending him a very important subliminal message, the person said.
Normalcy has returned to the operations of Camp Street Jail after a ruckus broke out there yesterday as inmates protested and set a part of the correctional facility alight. The Ministry of Home Affairs and the relevant authorities have launched an investigation into the circumstances surrounding an incident yesterday which saw prisoners setting a part of the Camp Street Jail on fire while protesting the removal of a senior official there. This newscast understands that the security around the prison has been beefed up and the Guyana Police Force is working feverishly to ensure there are no further security breaches internally following Sunday's incident. The Guyana Fire Service is also investigating the incident. Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nandlal is currently participating in another periodic review session staged by the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force, which is working to strengthen the region's anti-money laundering and terrorism laws. The meeting is taking place in the Bahamas as we speak, and Nandlal is already making efforts to negotiate and lobby the regional body for an extension since Guyana has failed to pass critical legislation to strengthen its own laws to fight money laundering. It is unlikely that he may be granted the extension since Guyana has already received an extension early in the year, which means that it may be placed on a list of blacklisted countries and will face dire consequences. The opposition recently voted down legislation presented in the parliament to fight money laundering and terrorism here, despite the pleas of all of the other stakeholders who will be affected. 2 men lost their lives while another is critically injured after an early morning accident at the Metamirasor West Coast Demerara area. Here are the details in this Avinash Ramzan story.
Dead are 56-year-old Juman Ali, a conductor of the Willem Village, and 52-year-old Hasid Mohammed Bulla of East Metamirasor. This newscast was told that on Sunday morning, the 2 men were on the road talking with another man who was on a motorcycle when a motorcar heading to Parika swerved into them. When this newscast visited the homes of the men, their families were still trying to come to grips with their deaths. At Bulla's home, his wife recalled that he left to go to work. However, shortly after, she was informed about the accident.
This morning, he left around 5 to 6 this morning, and around 6:30, somebody come tell me an incident happened with my husband. I must go. When I go, I didn't saw him on the road. I went to the hospital, Cottage Hospital, and I saw my husband lie down on a bed. He was unconscious.
Bulla leaves to mourn his wife of 26 years, 3 daughters and grandchildren. Meanwhile, the sister of Ali said that after she was told about the accident, she went to the Leonora Cottage Hospital where she was informed that her brother succumbed. The woman related what she heard about the accident.
3 by me stand up down there. The one with the motorbike, he and the next guy with a bicycle. And this bike come from so with the car. And he sway in, and he pick up the 2 by, he knock this one with the motorbike down there, and he sway in one up on the windscreen, and the German like he hook up in front. And he carried them till past the masjid, till by a big house there down there, and they didn't throw off.
The injured man, called Devo, also of Metamirasor, has been hospitalized and is in a critical condition. Post-mortem examinations were conducted on the bodies of both men today.
A taxi driver who was reportedly under the influence of alcohol and a dispatcher attached to the Crown Taxi Service were last evening killed in an accident at Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, while 2 others are said to be injured. More in this report.
The accident claimed the lives of 19-year-old Tiana Holder of Lot 18 Ben Street Work in Ross, Georgetown, and Percival Chester of Lot 16 Durbin Street Lodge, Georgetown. Percival Chester, the driver of the car, reportedly lost control in the vicinity of the Rubes gas station, Mandela Avenue. 2 other backseat passengers escaped with minor injuries. The accident occurred mere minutes after they left a wake at Middle Street while they were on their way to South Rumvelt. From reports received, Percival and the other occupants of the car were under the influence of alcohol, since several bottles of alcohol were retrieved from the wrecked car minutes after the accident. At the home of the dead woman, her mother, Cheryl Holder, explained what she heard occurred on the fateful night, noting that they were consuming alcohol.
The third by the Transfiguration Church, and he hit the edge of the gas station, went up in the air, turning like the lights, and ended up in the gas station, damaged a RAV4 and other cars, and the car landed on the top. And when they took her out, the other 2 girls in the car got cuts on the head. They were drinking. And they were drinking in Middle Street. And in the car had a set of alcohol. People stole the alcohol after the car. People took the alcohol out.
The devastated woman also claimed that initially she did not give permission for her daughter to attend the wake, but she went behind her back and sought permission from her grandmother. On the other hand, Cheryl Shafi, mother of the dead man, remained puzzled as to how her son met his demise and disclosed when she received the dreaded news.
Hearing all sorts of conflicting reports. I heard that we swore from a minibus I heard that he swore from a cow. I don't know which one is true. But he had to swear from something. He was not speeding. He was not under the influence of alcohol. I just don't know what happened. I called him. He said, just give me 5 minutes. I'm going to be there. I'll come in 5 minutes. And he said around after 9:30, I heard a guy calling. Then I opened up. There were two individuals, a male and a female. They said, come quick, his son just reached in an accident. He's at the hospital. Friendly, easygoing, loving, caring. I always used to say, Mommy, everything gonna be alright. Mommy, don't take on it, everything gonna be alright.
The bodies are at the Lycan Funeral Home awaiting post-mortem. Percival leaves to mourn his 3 children, reputed wife and mother, while Hole is survived by her only sibling and parents. Bisha Mohammed, The Evening News.
Today, the Guyanese woman who was busted on Saturday morning for cocaine found in a false wall in her suitcase appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court. Here's more in this Anara Khan report.
32-year-old Shalon Kanai of Lot 5 Railway Industry East Coast Demerara made her first court appearance before Magistrate Faith McGusty, where she pleaded not guilty to the charge which stated that on November 16 at Chedijagan International Airport she had in her possession 2.938 kilograms of cocaine for the purpose of trafficking. The case was prosecuted by Customs Anti-Narcotic Unit Prosecutor Oswald Messiah, who told the court that on the day in question, the defendant was an outgoing passenger on flight BW524 and was in possession of a suitcase which was checked by a Kanu officer on duty. The suitcase was on the scanner when the officer noticed the peculiar object and took it down for inspection. Kanai accepted the suitcase as hers, and the officer identified himself as a rank attached to Kanu. The rank told her that he suspects the object to be cocaine. She stated that she packed the suitcase herself and that she owns a small business. However, she was taken to Kanu headquarters where the substance was tested and weighed and amounted to 2.938 kilograms of cocaine. On her way to the headquarters, she asked the officer to give her a chance, stating that she is the mother of 6 children. Magistrate Magusti refused bail, citing that no special reasons were given for it to be granted. She was remanded to prison and the matter stands adjourned to November 27th. Reporting for The Evening News, Anara Khan.
The University of Guyana must institute systems that will enhance its credibility on the international stage while simultaneously working to become an economically viable institution. It was Fort Valley University President Dr. Ivelaw Lloyd Griffith who made this call on Saturday during the 47th convocation exercise. Svetlana Marshall reports.
For this university, for our university, to pound the 3 imperatives. For me, it's an important imperative that this university focuses on economic viability. The next set of decades will require focusing on what I call the academic credibility imperative. And for Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, nothing of those first 2 imperatives can really be accomplished unless this university embraces its alumni, especially alumni of the diaspora, some of whom have gone on to do great things and who need to be asked to give back.
Dr. Ivelaw Lloyd Griffith said, avenues should be created for endowments for professorships and scholarships, explaining that it would not only enhance the prospects of the tertiary institution economically, but attach academic credibility. Entrepreneurship and resource mobilization were listed as key factors to be incorporated into the institution's financial system, as effective utilization of resources can optimize all possible savings, reduce waste, and enhance cost and time efficiencies. In the area of academic credibility, he said academic freedom must be practiced and not be mostly platitude.
Academic and non-academic staff must guard against abusing academic freedom. The university must be intentional and consistent in applying sanctions against such. What is true for universities like mine that I have the honor to lead in the United States, dating back to more than a century, it's even truer for young universities like this one. That is, the failure to balance freedom with responsibility can serve to spawn crises that can be avoided, can serve to undermine confidence and respect for both the university and the society, and from stakeholders within and outside Guyana.
Students and lecturers were encouraged to be guardian of integrity and should continuously seek to root out academic corruption, whether be it plagiarism, illegal sale of services, or property, or outright theft. On Saturday, 1,376 students graduated from the faculties of Agriculture and Forestry, Health Sciences, Natural Sciences, Social Sciences, and the Schools of Education and Humanities, and Earth and Environmental Sciences, and in the Institute of Distance and Continuing Education. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Svetlana Marshall.
Join us after these messages for more of the Evening News. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. A stakeholders consultation on the proposed ban on styrofoam products was held today, with plans to make the ban effective commencing January 1, 2014. The details in this story. Natural Resources and the Environment Minister Robert Bissot said the ban on styrofoam is necessary given the health risk and environmental damages it can cause to Guyana. Bissot noted too that the ban has the ability to create opportunities for the local manufacturing sector, which could help to create employment for many.
So when we talk about the ban, it is not to take away anything, but it's rather it's a step to give our people more opportunities, but also give them a healthy surrounding and also ensure, and it is our responsibility too, as citizens, but especially policymakers.
He also agreed to enhance a public awareness campaign on the ban, which he said could help to ensure greater compliance. Meanwhile, Acting Tourism Minister Irfan Ali lauded the initiative to ban styrofoam since it contributes to a significant part of solid waste, which continues to be a major tourism issue.
We also need to work on the mechanism that would ensure we have strong enforcement, strong monitoring. We have been delighted to partner with the Ministry of Natural Resources.
President of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, GCCI, Clinton Erlin, said there are many reasons why the ban should be implemented.
Many companies within the food service industry are currently using the styrofoam containers. They're pretty easy to use. They hold the contents of, especially hot contents, pretty easily. They microwave well, but like the first presenter said, there's also health effects of using styrofoam containers. However, the alternatives to styrofoam, they're easily available. We don't need to worry needlessly as to whether or not we can find a replacement.
A virtual ban is to be imposed on styrofoam boxes from next year June, but the move aimed at combating the growing garbage problem has not gone down well with a few importers of food containers. The Private Sector Commission and the Tourism Hospitality Association of Guyana TAG have both endorsed the plan to significantly scale back the importation of the styrofoam. For the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan. A 24-year-old all-boys young man was stabbed to death on Sunday morning during a confrontation with another man from the area sometime around 10 hours. The dead man has been identified as Lloyd Benjamin of Lot 130 King Edward Street, All-Boys-Town. According to a police release, Benjamin was involved in an argument with a man whose brother later confronted Benjamin. During the confrontation, Benjamin was stabbed about his body. The police have since launched a search for both brothers who are said to be on the run. Persons in the area remained tight-lipped about the incident. Benjamin has been living in All-Boys-Town for the past 6 years. He was living alone in the lower apartment of a 2-story house. A young man was brutally beaten to death in the wee hours of Sunday morning outside a popular night spot on the east coast of Demerara. We are joined by Vanu Manichan, who has the details in this story.
minute.
That was the grieving aunt of 20-year-old Danraj Budan, who was brutally battered to death outside of the Fantasy nightclub in Lusignan. According to a police press release, Budan was reportedly involved in an argument with 3 other young men, during which he was stabbed and beaten. A friend who was with the young man at the night spot recounted the events of the incident.
Me and friend went at Fantasy nightclub. I went in the club and he tell me you come out the club and tell me I come back. Right dark he went to the bar. When I come outside I set a fight. Come out and watch him, see I set a fight and he then said, then I run the man then I catch he and me end up when we run go, me see me friend lie down on the ground and by the over he just lashing your back on the wood in the head and you will have pain and just wait till the police come. And then I got to the hospital.
Akash told this newscast that he does not know how the problem started and if Budan had any past problems with the men. Meanwhile, the aunt of the young man said that her nephew, who lived with her, left home to go by his father in LBI Saturday evening, and it wasn't until later Sunday morning that they were told of the incident. She said that they rushed to Georgetown Public Hospital in anxiety since they were only told that he was beaten and not about his death.
When I go in, there was a young guy on a bed. I was like away far, but I didn't look at the guy on the bed. And they asked me if I am Danraj's family. I tell you yes. And the guy on the bed I thought was he. It wasn't he. And then I come out. And my husband go in. And when he go in, they give him belt, a bag, and $700. And then tell you we get more of that fantasy.
Budan leaves to mourn his father, 2 siblings, and other relatives. The police are in custody of the young man who was found stabbing Budan. He is currently admitted under guard at the Georgetown Public Hospital, while the 2 other men are currently on run.
As the Agriculture Ministry, through the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, NDIA, prepares for the upcoming rainy season, it was noted that community drains pose a serious flood risk. More in this story. Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy said that while preparations are being made for the upcoming rainy season, there is some chance that community drains could cause flooding if the situation is not fixed. Dr. Ramsamy said these difficulties could arise mainly out of the secondary and tertiary drains. Secondary drains fall on the ambit of the Regional Democratic Councils, RDCs, and tertiary drains, as well as small internal community drains, falls under the responsibility of the various municipal councils.
For the secondary drains, I would say that we are 75% prepared. I have instructed the RDC, the NDIA, to work with the RDCs and the WUAs to assist as much as possible, to provide some of our equipment. And in some cases, we have had to award private contracts to help clean up those drains. I am not overtly concerned that we will not be ready.
Another area of concern during this period is outfall dredging. Minister Ramsamy said that this was important although the internal canals are perfect. The outfalls would have to be constantly dredged. Dredging, he said, cannot be done in preparation for the upcoming rainy season but during that period.
What I have instructed the NDIA to do, whilst it's not their remit, to go clean it. It is their responsibility to monitor them and to work with the responsible authorities to make sure that they are clean. So we've been deploying some of our equipment. We don't have enough equipment. These are the small excavators into those communities. And as I said, you will not find them in all the communities because we simply don't have enough. We are deploying them and we're trying to obtain some more of these excavators so that as time goes, we will be able to work a little bit more closer with the local authorities to ensure that the internal drains are in the same condition as the main drains.
As it relates to the primary drains and canals, Minister Ramsamy said that approximately 90% of the network is in optimal condition. Despite the ongoing challenges, the minister is confident that everything will be put into place in time for the rains. While all pumps and pump stations are operational, some require major rehabilitation. These include the Charity Essequibo and Lusignan East Coast Demerara pumps, which are currently being repaired. A second pump will be placed at Lusignan East Coast Demerara, which has the capacity to drain more water into the Atlantic Ocean, one of the 14 pumps that the government sourced from overseas. For the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan. Meanwhile, Junior Agriculture Minister Ali Bash is calling on Region 6 residents to stop the indiscriminate dumping of garbage in waterways, even as works are being done to upgrade the drains and canals there. More in this report. Minister Ali Bash said the dumping of solid waste in the region has led to widespread flooding in both agricultural and residential areas. Minister Bash was at the time speaking at a recent project inspection tour in the region.
Our private contractor is now being employed through the Ministry of Local Government, working along with the region and the NDCs, and we need the cooperation of the resident. They showed, as was mentioned also by the citizens, that they need to have a barrel by the roadside, obliquely to their house, and they can dump their refuse inside, and then they can make arrangement to the NDCs for them to remove the garbage instead of dumping into the main drains and the internal drainage and pass again.
6 mini excavators have been sent to Region 6 to assist with the clearing of community drains. Currently, the machines are deployed at Tain, Bloomfield, Rosehall Town and Albion, and work has already been completed in the Firish Kilcoy area. Minister Bash noted that the current project will complement ongoing work. He said over the past 4 years, persons from each community were employed as drainage and irrigation workers.
We are at over 2,000 workers to the CDIP project, which costs us about $1 billion a year. About $800 million a year. $800 million a year. And that is to help to maintain all these internal drainage in the housing area and the surrounding area, the housing schemes and so on. But what we observe, as was mentioned by MP Jafar Ali, is that while we are doing all of this, and you can see that a machine is there, and he mentioned about the fleet of machine that we got in the Balbis area, in Region 6 area, to assist in the internal drainage, because the volume of workers we got with the CDIP project can't do all the drainage work.
The National Drainage and Irrigation Authority will use the NDC's workers to have the smaller drains desilted. Residents are being urged to cooperate with the private garbage contractors who are replacing the NDCs and municipalities in solid waste management. For the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan. More of the Evening News after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. November 18 to 22 has been designated Restaurant Week, and the Guyana Tourism Authority, GTA, has planned a series of activities to highlight the importance of food safety. One of the feature activities is an operations awareness talk for restaurants. This was facilitated by Abiola Baker from the Public Health Department of the Mayor and City Council on Monday at the Guyana International Conference Center, Liliendal, Greater Georgetown. The half-day session saw more than 2,000 participants having discussions on topics ranging from food sanitation, hygiene and food preparation to the licensing of food establishments. The second session was led by Marlon Cole from the Food and Drug Analyst Department, who discussed food safety and other issues. The entities that participated in Monday's activities include Ashman's, Agman, Subs and Salads, KFC and Pizza Hut, Frenzy Impact Bar and Kanuku Suits. Cheers erupted from the crowd late Sunday evening as Team Suriname was announced the winner of the King's Jewelry World's Clash of the Past Champions duck curry competition. Tristan Joseph reports.
The competition saw 20 groups from Guyana, Suriname and Trinidad and Tobago competing for the grand prize of $1.5 million, along with the fame that comes with being a duck curry champion. The competition commenced at 1400 hours and the competitors were given 2 hours to perfect their curries before a panel of 10 judges from across the region. The teams were judged based on presentation, aroma, texture, and taste. More than 150 Trinidadians and close to 100 Surinamese were present at the competition and were beaming with excitement as they anxiously waited for the judges to reveal their results.
We didn't know what to expect. When we were invited by 1 or 3, because we have Trini Limers is a full participant in every single 1 or 3 event in Corridor. When we were invited here, we didn't know what to expect. When I came here, I didn't expect this amount of people. It's about 20,000 people here, you know. The culture of the people, I appreciated that from Guyana, you know. The competition, the level of competition was tremendous, you know. Everybody, but they were, you know, they're looking to see what the other guy doing. But we came here to have a good time. We came here just to represent Trinity Limers, our name, and it was fantastic.
It's very nice today for compete with very big one like before time who went in the competition, more winners. And like it's actually more winner. Like past one of them for compete with is very grateful. It feel nice for fast for compete with them, and I feel nice. So it's good what they're doing.
Persons representing Team Suriname were in shock as they were announced as the King's Jewelry World Duck Curry competition winners.
I can't believe I will the winner after so many years that Guyana is a champion in duck curry. So I feel so happy, and I want to thank all of you for the support, especially Mr. King and his wife for bringing Suriname here and support us to take part in the duck curry competition. Thank you very much.
In at second place was G&P Jai Gobing and Son Supermarket. Jai Karan Duck Curry Crew came in third, Jamal's Ultimate Duck Curry Crew came in fourth, and Mike's Haslington Crew fifth. Apart from those prizes, teams were also awarded for the best presentation and the best dressed largest group. Team Suriname captured the best presentation prize, while GMP Jai Gobing and Sun Supermarket secured the best dressed largest group prize. Families came out in their numbers to support the 13th annual duck curry competition, and many of the participants thanked King's Jewelry World proprietor Luknath Prasad and his wife for organizing the event and bringing different cultures together. The competition was sponsored by Radio Guyana Inc., Television Guyana, Guyana Times, Guyana Lottery, Sujata Curry Powder, Digicel, Banks DIH, and Queen's Atlantic International Inc.
The body of a mentally challenged man was found dead on the Erie Hall public road on the Essequibo coast early Sunday morning. According to information reaching this newscast, the man identified as Shazard Mohammed from Essequibo coast was discovered 6 miles from his house. Mohammed, 35, was discovered by public-spirited citizens. While the cause of his death is yet to be determined, many suspect he is a victim of a hit-and-run accident. Police were summoned to the scene and Mohammed's body was removed and taken to the study mortuary, awaiting a post-mortem examination. Meanwhile, the driver involved in the hit-and-run accident on the Riverston Public Road, Essequibo Coast, which left Pandit Narayan Singh dead, has surrendered to ranks at the Anna Regina Police Station. Delny Gonzalez, 49, of Dartmouth, Essequibo Coast, who was on the run for close to a week, submitted himself to law enforcement officials on Monday. Gonzalez allegedly drove his car in a dangerous manner, killing Singh, and immediately after the accident, he fled the scene instead of rendering assistance to Narayan. However, his car HB 4188 was found at the back of Dartmouth and was taken to the Anna Regina Police Station. Gonzalez will appear before Magistrate Sunil Scares tomorrow at the Anna Regina's Magistrates Court. Singh, 74, of Riverstown, was walking home after visiting his daughter when he was struck down by Gonzalez. Join us after these messages for more news. Welcome back to the evening news. The Berbice Bridge Company, Inc. on Friday donated 3 trophies to the winners of the Comfort in Hearts for Primary School Art Competition. The gesture from the Bridge Company follows a request from the manager of Comfort in Hearts. The company said it was privileged to have the opportunity to donate trophies to Comfort in Hearts for their primary school art competition, which is an effort to prevent child abuse and violence against children. It noted too that abuse and violence against children are problems in all the Caribbean and the world at large. It crosses racial and all other lines. It disclosed that it committed to supporting this cause, and as such, the primary school art competition will promote the awareness of abuse and violence against children. Join us after these messages for your sport news, sponsored by Macor. Welcome back, and now for a look at sport in your headlines. West Indies squad unchanged for a New Zealand tour. 53rd National Schools Championship starts tomorrow, and Reynold Jeffrey wins Right for Life. Despite a mauling in the recent Test series in India, West Indies have made no changes to their squad for the Test series in New Zealand next month. Darren Sammy, who scored 25 runs over 4 innings and bowled 21 wicket-less overs in the series, continues to captain the side. Only 2 West Indian batsmen managed to aggregate more than 100 runs in the series, and the only bowler who had success was off-spinner Shane Shillingford with 11 wickets. None of his teammates managed to take more than 2 wickets. The first of 3 Test matches against New Zealand starts on December 3. The squad is Darren Sammy, Dinesh Ramdin, Tino Bess, Darren Bravo, Shivnarayan Chandrapal, Sheldon Cottrell, Narsingh Dinarayan, Kirk Edwards, Shannon Gabriel, Chris Gale, Versamy Permaul, Kieran Powell, Marlon Samuels, Sean Shillingford and Chadwick Walton. Schools from across the country will begin to quest for top honours tomorrow when the 53rd Annual National Schools Athletics, Swimming and Cycling Championship gets underway. Events will be held at the Guyana National Stadium and the Castellani Pool on Homestretch Avenue, with North Georgetown District 11 set to defend their title. Linden's Irville Hines rode brilliantly to win the final leg for Linden to Georgetown, but could not prevent Reynold Jeffrey of Team Coco from emerging with overall top honours when the 7th annual Ride for Life 5-stage cycling meet concluded on Sunday on Homestretch Avenue, Georgetown. The final stage, which attracted 32 starters, was won by Hines of the newly formed United Bikers Club in a time of 2 hours 37 minutes 58 seconds. It was a remarkable performance from Hines, who suffered a fall at Diamond on the east bank of Demerara, but splendid ride-in by his teammates brought him back into the contention and eventually allowed him to win the stage. Team Coco's Darren Matthews of Barbados and Geron Williams finished 2nd and 3rd respectively. Jeffrey, who won the opening stage from Corriverton to New Amsterdam on Thursday last and extended his dominance with victory on the penultimate stage in Essequibo on Saturday, emerged with an overall winning time of 10 hours 5 minutes 33 seconds. Remember, you can read about these and other stories in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times newspaper, which can be purchased from vendors across the country. When you're not reading our newspaper or watching TVG Channel 28, do remember to tune in to RDI on 89.3, 89.5 or 89.7 FM. Your bridge reports are next. Welcome back, and now for a look at your bridge reports. The Demo Harbour Bridge will be closed on Tuesday, November 19 at 5 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Tuesday, November 19 at 16 hours 50 for a period of 1.5 hours. That's your Monday, November 18, 2013 edition of the Evening News. I'm Samuel Suknandon. Thanks for joining us.